What's a good one though that like there was a real lesson to?
Yeah, I'm going to say not minting VeeFriends.
Two bored apes talking NFTs, DeFi, and some random stuff.
Biggest mistake and biggest lesson learned.
For me, it's hard to say because there's sort of a difference between a results-oriented mistake, right? And what was a genuine mistake at the time. With hindsight, there's so many individual projects where we can just go, I didn't mint a ton of these. But I don't know if that's really a fair way to assess,
I think we should go with
investor or whatever.
Not results oriented.
Right. I think that too early on last year, I was thinking that the steam was going to run out on these new projects, whereas in reality, people's appetites were much larger. And so I was trying to kind of transition into NFTs that I really wanted to hold long term, which I think is good, but I was doing it to the detriment of continuing to grow my pile of F, which I could use to later invest in those long term ones. So I basically wasn't minting and flipping just enough projects.
Yeah.
I was trying to find that balance a little too quickly, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but again, that's also a little bit hindsight with how well everything has gone, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
But there's like no shortage of projects that continue to moon. It's not so easy to pick them ahead of time. But if you had said 6 months ago, oh, we already, is it because it was lucky? There's a bunch of projects that have come out in the last month, 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, every period going back to when we started. There's multiple projects that have come out over any not that long period of time that have done very, very well.
I'm trying to think of my biggest mistake. It's tough because I fortunately had such a successful year.
Yeah.
It's like, and I sort of just default back to thinking about like individual projects that I just maybe made a mistake in not
like you
thinking
had a
about.
ton of World of Women.
Right, yeah.
At the time that you were selling them as the prices were rising, it wasn't necessarily F that you needed. So now in retrospect, now that it's all the way up at 9 or whatever, it feels like, that you could call that a big mistake.
Right, yeah.
You were actually talking on I think it was 2 podcasts ago, maybe only one, that the devs of Cool Cats messaged you ahead of time going, hey, you should like mint our thing. And you missed it. That was huge. But
yeah, there's a lot of those. Obviously, famously, the 3 Fidenzas I sold for under 1 ETH.
Yeah, it's never ending in this space.
It really is never ending.
What's a good one though that like there was a real lesson to?
Yeah, I'm gonna say not minting VeeFriends. I guess I hadn't quite cottoned on then to like the power of just betting on people, and especially just
that was interesting because it was somebody that you already like were a fan of. And every other project that was NFTs that you were getting into, it was people that you had no previous connection with. But just the way your brain was thinking about what is an NFT and what makes them valuable and how valuable can they get was very different at the time. So you missed it.
Yeah. Basically, it seemed unfathomable to me and probably a lot of people that, an NFT you could mint for what ended up being like 0.5 ETH, but even say 2 ETH could just be worth 10 in a few months. We hadn't really seen that happen. So the mint price was just very high to my mind. I think it was like a Dutch auction starting at 2 ETH or something, maybe 3 ETH. And then I just basically said, I just don't have that much money to sink into one project. So I just didn't really research it that well. And yeah, I mean, I have been a fan of Gary since probably like 15 years, 12 years. No, actually 15. And, But like the last several years, I hadn't really followed anything he did. I just like, when I saw him pop up, I was like, oh, that's really cool. I know this guy from the past and I like his stuff, but 3 ETH for, I can't afford that. And then I definitely learned a lesson after that, just sort of, something I obviously harp on about a lot, just betting on people and how important it is and how much success can come from betting on the right people, I think. Which, I think I learned that lesson and then sort of took that investment philosophy or thesis forward. And when I was evaluating projects after that, I was like thinking very much about the team and whether there was a Gary-like figure or just, someone where their reputation was tied to it and they were basically going to do everything in their power to make the project a success.